What's up, it's Destiny back again for another video, and in today's video we are celebrating my chemo anniversary. Is that how you say it? This time last year I took my very last chemotherapy treatment, and we're going to celebrate. We're going to talk about the things, what has transpired in this past year. Before we get into that video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, okay? Make sure you hit that post notification bell so that you don't miss any uploads. Also, be prepared to leave a comment at the end of this video and give this video a thumbs up. Can you believe it? I just so happened to be looking through my Google Photos. I back all my photos up to Google. This is not a shout out to Google, but whatever it is. I back up all my photos to Google, and they create these little memories for you. And I was just looking through my photos on this time last year, or this time 2 years from now, 5 years from now. And I came across the video of me driving to chemotherapy, ringing the bell at chemotherapy, and I was just so emotional. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it, and it's been a year. It's been a year since I did my last chemotherapy treatment, and the last was the Red Devil. So let's talk about chemo. For the first, I think it was 4 weeks, look at the videos, it might have been longer, but I started chemo in April, and I believe it was called Taxol. It was the one where you go to chemo once a week for a duration of time. So I did that. There were some complications, okay? I had to push that off, that treatment off sometimes because my white blood count was too low, I was too weak, my body needed time to recuperate because you're getting hit week after week after week of chemo. That was pretty tough. That was the chemo that made me lose my locks. My locks I started noticing the thinning of my locks. I already had micro locks, so they were pretty, thin locks, about this length. And I started noticing thinness. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. Everybody don't lose their hair with chemo. Let's see what's going on here, right? By the end of the second treatment, I had patches. I had patches in my, I don't know what you call this area, but over here, I had patches here, and I had a patch in the back of my head. And I was like, okay, I can still kind of hide it. But then I was like, cancer has already taken so much from me. I'm not going to let it take my locks, right? Y'all know I love my locks. I was growing my locks. Sorry, there's a hair in my face. I was growing my locks for about 4 years. So it was very devastating for me, but I didn't want to just walk around the house and have locks falling out or walking out in public, so I took it upon myself to just cut my hair. I just cut my hair, and I didn't even cry. I thought I was going to cry, but I didn't, because I'm like, God will restore. God will restore all that is lost, and he has done just that. So I cut my locks and, went on about my day. Again, chemo every week. Sometimes it would be pushed back. I think I had to take 2 weeks break in that first phase of chemo. And then when I got to the second phase of chemo, I had to take 2 weeks break, maybe twice, because they call it the Red Devil. That's the one that really kicks you down, okay? But I will say the first phase of chemo is what shrunk my tumor. Now, the tumor in my right breast wasn't even that big. It was already like the size of a pea. And so that first phase of chemo shrunk it almost completely, where it was almost completely gone. But we had to stick with the treatment plan, and that's what I chose to do. I chose to stick with the treatment plan that my provider suggested for me, okay? And I did my research. I talked to other doctors. I talked to nurses. I talked to all the people. Y'all know I can be a nerd when it comes to things. I'm doing my research, making sure it's a good fit for me. And that's what you have to do, no matter what field you're in, whatever medical or situation that you're facing. Sorry, this hair. You have to be an advocate for yourself, and you have to research for yourself. They're going to tell you, of course, this is the best thing, blase, blase. Do your research for yourself, okay? And I did that. So when it came around for phase 2 of chemo, what they call the Red Devil, like I said, the one that really can really take you out. I really felt like that treatment was really that was the hardest phase of chemo for me, I would say. I mean, it's all hard. Let's not sugarcoat it. None of this shit is easy. It is very hard. But I think the Red Devil is just so much stronger, and that's why they call it the Red Devil. I would call it the Kool-Aid juice, but for medical terms, people know it as the Red Devil. That is like the worst. Okay. Like I said, I had to take breaks in between it because it would knock my numbers down so low. I was almost hospitalized, but thankfully I persuaded my doctors not to hospitalize me, and I had to get a blood transfusion. So like I said, that phase of chemo was the worst, but that really knocked everything out, kind of. Now, also being an advocate for yourself when it comes to the medical field, you have to know when something is too much for your body. That Red Devil was too much for my body. I think after the first treatment is when I fainted. I was out in public with my, it don't matter who I was with, but I was out in public, okay? I was out in public and I fainted. I was like, I feel tired. I kept yawning back to back. So I was like, let me sit down. Then I started seeing like stars, like just stars. And I'm like, why is my vision like that? Next thing I know, I'm passed out over here. And someone's like, Des, wake up, trying to get me to drink water. And I'm like, what's happening? Why am I over here and not over there? Like, girl, you fainted. I'm like, what? So I had to get the blood transfusion. That was pretty scary times. So listen to your body, okay? Listen to your body and advocate for yourself. So when that happened to me, I talked to my doctor. I said, what can we do? Because I'm not going to be able to continue treatment if I'm going to be falling out. I got kids. I be driving to practice, to school, the things. I can't be passing out, you know? And so she said, I'll do something for you. I will reduce your dose. So she reduced my chemotherapy dose by 30%, and it was still very powerful, still very strong. But at the end of the chemo, I was feeling much better. You get a little acclimated. You just kind of expect, you anticipate, okay, I know I'm going to feel nauseous. For me, I was nauseous. I'll tell you the symptoms. I was very nauseous. I could not keep food down. I lost so much weight. I think I went in at 145. I think I went in at 145 starting this, and I ended like almost, no, I was definitely 130. I don't know if I got into the 120s, but it's not just, oh, okay, that's just a few weight muscle. I lost muscle mass. I lost my butt for a while. I was really, really thin. I lost it in my face too. My face looked very thin. I didn't like how I looked. People were like, you didn't look like you went through chemo and da-da-da-da. Child, because you weren't there. You weren't there to see it. You weren't there to experience me feeling sick. You weren't there when I was wanting to give up. You weren't there when I told my doctors I wasn't doing this no more. You weren't there when I was making arrangements with my family. Like, hey, I'm not continuing with treatment. Make sure my kids is good. Y'all wasn't there. So that's why it's easy for you to say you don't look like you went through what you went through. Because I definitely did. I definitely did. So that was something that I had to deal with. But back to the symptoms. I was nauseous. Could not eat. I would drink the Ensure protein shakes. And after a while, that taste became nasty to me. My taste buds changed. They're still changed. I like spicy food, but now things are way more spicy than they really are for me. Things are way more salty than they really are for me. So my taste buds are still affected to this day, a year later. Okay, I still get hot flashes, baby. I'm having one right now. Okay, I get toasty out of the blue. I get a little toasty. I keep my fan with me. Okay, because, you know, I can't control it. I still don't have my cycle. I got it back for like a moment and then it went away. And that's okay. At first I was kind of upset about that, but now I don't care because, you know, it is what it is. What else? Eating was trash. I was throwing up. Sometimes I was, trigger warning, I don't know, but I was throwing up like 3 times a day, most days. I had to take off time for work. That's where it's very important that you communicate with your job. I wasn't sure if I wanted to, but I know that I had to, because I knew that there were going to be days where I just would not be able to get out of bed. And there were plenty of days where I just was not able to get out of bed. So I had to utilize my FMLA and communicate with my manager, supervisor, director. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. You know, I had to communicate that with them, because you're going to need your rest. You're going to need your rest, because this is going to make you very fatigued. My energy is still low sometimes. I have my spurts of where I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But a lot of the time, I need to take a nap. I need to rest. I need to take a break. If we're out at Universal, I'm like, hold on, y'all. Y'all can go ahead, but I need to sit down. They're like, no, we'll sit with you. You know, my family's very understanding. But it's like, I need a break. So utilize your breaks, okay? Take the rest that you need, because your body really needs it to stay in this fight, okay? So fatigue is still there. While I was going through chemo, I had insomnia. I could not sleep. Part of it is the steroid that they give you when you're going through chemotherapy, so that your body won't get infections and things like that, but it also keeps you up at night. I was up all night. Sick, but up all night. I'm not saying do what I do, but I had to take some supplements to help me go to sleep. Edibles, okay? I'm just going to say it. Every now and then I had to take an edible so that I could go to sleep. If not, I would be up all night, all day, like a zombie. You don't want to live that way. I'm sure your provider can give you some medication, but I didn't want that. I wanted to be, you know, y'all know me. I try to be as natural as I can when it comes to the things that I put in and on my body. So I tried melatonin. That worked for a little while. After a while, it stopped working. And so I would take half of an edible, not the whole, just half. And I'm not promoting that or suggesting that. I'm just telling you what I had to do to get through, okay? Do what you need to do. So yeah, sleepless nights, restless nights, fatigue, throwing up, unable to eat. What else? Obviously, you lose all the hair on your body, but it comes back, baby, because it's here. It's here and it's everywhere. Hair texture is totally different. I was a 4C, 4B girly child. I don't know what this hair is. 3C. I have the same hair that I had when I was a baby. And when I was a baby, I had very slick and wavy hair like my mama. And that's the type of hair that I have now. And it's beautiful. I'm embracing it. You know, it is what it is. Y'all know my eyebrows, eyelashes, all the things came back while I was going through chemo. My fingernails did get weak. They did get weak, and y'all know I'm a nail girly. I was getting my nails done every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, like clockwork. But when I was going through chemo, I stopped that because I did not want any risk for infections, okay? So I would wear my natural nails. But while going through chemo, they get dark too. Your hands, the bottom of your hands, the bottom of your feet, and your nail beds get dark as a result of going through the chemotherapy. I didn't like that, so I would always polish my nails. My doctor didn't always like it, but, you know, I gotta still be me. I also would wear press-ons, and to this day, I still wear press-ons because I'm just not ready to go to the nail shop. I don't want to deal with no possible infections. Some women have stories of their nails falling off, like their whole nail. That has never happened to me. Thank the good Lord, okay? I just got the darkening, but it goes away. My nails are no longer dark. My toes are no longer dark. Everything is growing properly. The bottom of my hands, I don't think they're dark. They're definitely not as dark as they were. I don't want to say what they look like because people be sensitive and y'all might take it the wrong way and think whatever, but they're not as dark as they used to be. And neither are the top of my hands. So it all comes back. I'm trying to think of what else do you go through. When you're going through chemo, it is a very emotional thing, okay? It's very emotional. Y'all know, I told you, y'all seen the videos of me crying. Y'all saw the videos of me crying. I told y'all I would be talking to my nurse, Susan, God bless her, crying to her like, girl, I can't do this. I don't know. You know, I had my moments of feeling like that, my moments of wanting to give up. It's very emotional, and it's very imperative that you have a very strong support system, okay? At the time, I was in a relationship, and it was not the best for me. It was just as toxic as the cancer, okay? It was just as debilitating as the chemo. So be mindful when you're in a relationship. Everyone's not able to go through those rough patches with you. And if you got to cut ties, baby, do it sooner than later. Sooner than later. Okay? But also lean on your friends and your family if you have friends and family. Everyone might not, but if you do, lean on them. Also join support groups. And I'm only saying that because my therapist told me, Des, join some support groups. If you are a black woman, okay, there's a support group on Facebook. I think it's called Black and Brown Women. Something like that. It's something like that, okay? I'm in that group. And I'm thankful for the women in that group because we have conversations, we ask questions, we share pictures of surgery, all the things. And it's really a community of women that care about you because they know what you're going through. They've been there, or they're experiencing themselves, or they're about to experience it. It's all levels of women in that group, and we're just there to support, just to be there. And that's really what you're going to need if you're going through something like this. Even if it's not cancer or chemo, if it's another health condition, if it's a major life change, we need people. I know the world will tell you no new friends, no da-da-dee-dee-dee. You need people. You need people to get through this life because you can't do it on your own. You really can't. Now, I went through most of my chemo on my own. Wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend it. I just thank God for doing what he said he would do. And that is healing me. And he has done that. Also, lean in on your faith. I wish I would have been more in contact with my church family while I was going through this, but I was not. But my faith in God, that's why you have a personal relationship with God for yourself, so that you can have those communications, those conversations with God yourself and encourage yourself, okay? So I am thankful for that, and that's ultimately what got me through all of this. Faith without works is dead. I did the work, and I had the faith, and I'm like, God, you got to do the rest. I'm showing up to these appointments. I might be late. I'm going through with the treatment. I might be reluctant. I might cry a little bit, but I'm doing it, and I'm having the faith. So, God, now it's time for you to show up, and that's exactly what he did, okay? And therapy. I tell y'all all the time, I love my therapist so much. She's like a big sister. She's like a best friend. I can tell her everything. And I didn't get my therapist until I started the second phase of chemo, which was the Red Devil, like in June or July. And I wish I would have had her sooner. So if you're going through a major life change, if you're going through a medical condition, if you're fighting cancer, going through chemo, anything like that, make sure you have a good therapist. It is so imperative because you're going to need someone to help you see a different perspective. There will be times where I'm like, gosh, my doctor wants me to do this and that and that, and I'm just so discouraged. And she's like, Destiny, look at it this way. Your providers care about you. They're on top of this. They're not going to let anything go by the cracks. Everyone doesn't have that privilege. Everybody doesn't have good health care. Everyone doesn't have a voice. Everyone's not literate when it comes to medical. So it's like, take that as a good thing. And it took somebody else saying that to me for me to realize that. So you're going to need a soundboard. You're going to need someone to bounce how you feel off of them and help them keep you grounded, bring you back down to earth, reel you back in, and help you to see a different perspective. And I still go to therapy. Is it this week or next week? Next week. Okay? You can do it virtual because I do mine virtual. But that's really necessary and needed. Also, look into resources. Your hospital or your facility that you're going to, they should have resources to assist you. Okay? They can assist you with your rent or your mortgage or a light bill or something like that because you're paying to go to these treatments. They understand the hardship, how much this mess costs. It's a lot, okay? So they have programs set in place to assist you if you need it. There are also groups, I don't know the names of them off the top of my head, but breast cancer organizations that you can reach out to, and they will send you like a little goodie box of things, information, you know, meal plans, things like that to help aid you throughout this. So look into that. Locally and nationwide, there are organizations that are ready to help and assist you, and all you have to do is just apply. I'm trying to think of all the things related to chemotherapy. Excuse me. That right there. Sometimes you have a little memory fog. People like to make jokes about me. Like someone said the other day, do you have dementia? First of all, that's not funny. That's not funny. Second of all, when you go through chemotherapy, you do have memory fog. You do have a lapse of memory. I think I told y'all, if I didn't tell y'all, I told my therapist about, I had a situation at work. I made an error and I did not remember what the procedure was. I did not remember what the policies were to handle that certain situation, and I did it wrong. And my manager asked me, and I was like, oh my God. For a moment, I forgot what to do and I did the wrong thing. Absolutely. That's on me. Sorry. You have moments like that. To this day, I still have moments. I'll be like, what? I said that? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, okay. But you have to understand and you have to give yourself grace. And that's something that I'm still working on, because I'm usually so active, exercising all the time, up and going all the time. Y'all know we're always at the theme parks. We're always doing stuff, always at the beach. But I had to slow down because of this chemo stuff. And even still, I'm not at the same 100% that I was before, because the wear and tear that my body has gone through with the medicines, with the surgeries, with the radiation, it's a lot. And so you have to give yourself grace. I know it's frustrating at times, because it's like, yo, I used to be able to just up and do this in a snap. Now it's taking time. Now I have to be mindful. My balance might be off a little bit. Give yourself grace. It's going to come back to you. It's slowly coming back to me. And I know it's going to be at 100% one day. But I have to give myself grace while going through it, as do you. Another thing I wanted to mention is sun exposure. I live in Florida. It's hot every day. The sun is beaming every day. And they would tell me, you can't really be in the sun. What? I'm a Leo. The sun is, you know, that's me. I gotta be in the sun. I thrive off being in the sun. I'm always at the beach, the park, by the water. I gotta be careful. If you're gonna be in the sun, have the hats, have the protection on your body, sunscreen. I was never a sunscreen girl. Now I gotta put sunscreen on, because if I don't, I get little tiny blisters or I get really itchy. And I would tell my doctor, I'm like, why am I experiencing that? Even if the shower is too hot, I get itchy. And she said it's just a chemical reaction to the medicine that's in your body and from the heat. So be mindful. Don't eliminate the sun totally, but be mindful, especially if you are a black woman. We need the sun, vitamin D, we need those sun rays. So, and if you want to get sun, go in the morning. That's, you know, early morning sun and evening sun. That middle of the day will get you. It will get you. And, you know, you don't want to be feeling unwell because of that. So, yeah, I think that covers everything. But I will say that I attribute me getting through chemo, although I had very hard times, very hard days, weeks, months, moments. I before was taking a lot of herbs. I drink a lot of herbal tea. Now I still do. But for the past 5-6 years, I've been drinking herbal tea. And I strongly believe that along with my diet, y'all know I would go raw during the summer, raw vegan, only eating fruits and vegetables. My body was prepped to handle the chemo that I went through, because I was taking the herbs. I was taking care of my body. I was active. I was eating pretty healthy for the most part. Y'all know, pretty healthy for the most part. So my body was equipped. So now, coming off of it, it's a year, I'm doing the same things. I've just added soursop tea. I'm adding moringa tea along with my regular herbs that I use, and, you know, still eating fruits and salads during the day, one cooked meal at night type of thing. I am very mindful of my sugar intake, but don't be too hard on yourself, because I was even before this. I was super hard on my diet, super hard on what I ate. Don't do that now. Especially if you're going through chemo, eat whatever you can eat, because you're not really going to have an appetite most of the time. So whatever you can eat, eat. And when you're coming off of it and you're building yourself back up, just be mindful of what you're eating. A lot of herbs, fruits, and veggies, okay? And they say protein as well. Just be mindful of the protein that you take. I don't do red meat. I don't do pork. I just do chicken. I do chicken and I do seafood. That's really my source of protein. And I do eat boiled eggs every now and then now. But you can get a lot of protein from vegetables too. Spinach, green beans. Do your research, baby, because I don't want no one to say, well, Destaynee said, okay? But yeah, that's all that I have for you today as it pertains to chemo. Just be an advocate for yourself. Speak up. If you need a break, you can take a break. I had to take a break. You can take a break. And you want to take the break before your body makes you take the break. And you don't want to get to that point, because that's a very scary point to be. So you take the break when your body is telling you, not when your body is forcing it. Be an advocate. Make sure the nurses are treating you nice. I was so thankful for my chemo team because they were very nice to me. They were they're some of the best people. I love them. So be mindful. Be an advocate. Advocacy, advocacy, advocacy. Speak up. Speak up. It's so imperative. Especially if you're younger like me, especially if you're a black woman. Speak up, okay? And track everything at your appointment. I have a journal that I took to every appointment, writing down everything. My weight, blood pressure, all the things. Yeah, they doing it, but I'm doing it too, okay? So you just got to do that. You can get through this, okay? You really can. You have to believe in yourself and trust in God, and make sure that you have a doctor and a care team that you can trust. All right. So yeah, I'm going to be celebrating. Like I said, I'm celebrating for the rest of my life because I have my life. I have my life. I have a second chance at life. I'm going to be celebrating every chance that I get in whatever way I deem necessary, because it's my life. This is your life. Enjoy it. Love it. Thank God for it. Continue to be blessed in it. If you found this video to be helpful, be sure to share it with any and everyone that you think might find it informative, educational, helpful. Let me know in the comment section if this was helpful to you. Leave whatever comment you want, but keep it cute. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. And as always, if you love someone, tell them I love you all.